The movie Schindler's List is expected to sweep the Academy Awards this Monday night. For director Steven Spielberg, the film was a way to capture a painful moment in history and to help prevent it from ever happening again. But Spielberg felt the message was lost on a large part of a new generation, so he's launched a crusade to educate our children. Crusader Randy Page joins him in teaching them about sins of the past.
Schindler's List is my proudest moment.
For Steven Spielberg, Schindler's List is more than a movie. Now the celebrated director wants to use the film to teach the next generation the lessons behind his powerful images. He offered his film to public schools. Then Spielberg was shocked to hear that students from a Northern California high school laughed at the horror on the screen. Spielberg decided to act.
I think those kids wouldn't have reacted that way if there was a study program that preceded the viewing of Schindler's List and then some follow-up discussion for a couple of days afterwards. It's not just
one group helping Spielberg develop a study program is called Facing History and Ourselves, a foundation which reaches more than 500,000 students every year. We wanted to help prepare students for these powerful images. So we traveled to this Nazi death camp in northern Poland to produce some images of our own. The story you're about to see will be shown to thousands of students. It'll be a part of the Foundation's curriculum. It is the story of one survivor's journey back through one of the darkest chapters in human history.
Are you okay? Do you remember this?
Judy Meisel was only 12 years old when she last set foot on this Polish soil. Now, with measured steps, she's driven by the horrible memory of what happened on this very spot 50 years ago.
People here so badly.
Really? Are you sure you're going to be okay?
I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm okay. I got, it's a miracle that I'm here. A miracle.
Judy has come to pass her story on to her son Michael and her grandson Aaron. Judy is among more than 120,000 innocent people kidnapped by Nazis from 13 European countries and brought by cattle car to the death camp known as Stuthof. 85,000 people were murdered here. Judy's mother, Minna, died in the gas chamber. But Judy and her older sister survived. Today, this is all that remains: barbed wire and empty buildings. Skeletons from another time. But the memory of a 12-year-old girl puts flesh on the bones of history.
It always rained. It's quiet. You don't hear the dogs barking. And you don't see the emaciated bodies. And the stench, the smell of death. The sentry up there is missing. And it's an awful quietness.
A quiet rain filled the silence of this empty camp as Judy retraced the steps she took as a little girl.
Oh, boy. This is the beds. Exactly.
I can't imagine 5 people in a bed this small. I mean, it's hard to...
Sometimes we were only 4 people, but not for very long. If a person died, we had to take that person out and put him in front of the barrack.
The walk to the gas chamber would be the most difficult part of this journey back. The small brick building where her mother died.
They took her. They took her with like 20 other women. And I clung to her and I said, I want to go with you. And she said, no. And I said, yes. And we went into the gas chamber and we're told to get undressed. The guard looked at me and he said, laughing, and I know he was drunk. Because the way he was saying, he said, schnell, I should run. And he said, ain't zwei dry, you know. He started counting, and my mother starts saying, Leif Judith, 1, 1, and I won.
So you ran out of the gas
Yeah.
chamber. Will walking into that place again for the first time be the hardest thing you've done in a long time?
Yeah.
What makes you want to go back to that place?
To show the world. Such barbarians.
She shares her pain to show us what happens when bigotry and racism go unchallenged. For Judy's son Michael, it is a lesson which gives meaning to his grandmother's death.
That no one should be indifferent to cruelty, that we all have a collective responsibility to be good to other people, no matter who they are, what they believe in. And perhaps because of what happened to her, somebody or some people will be touched and will not let that happen again.
No matter how different someone is, they're still equal.
For 12-year-old Aaron, the image from the camp which stands out is the image of roses, because the former Nazi commandant used to cultivate roses just a few hundred feet from the gas chamber and the ovens.
He took care of flowers, and he just killed hundreds of thousands of people.
Just 2 weeks after her mother died in the gas chamber, Judy and her sister were led through these gates with a large group of prisoners. Russian forces were advancing. It was nearly the end of the war, and the Nazis didn't want any eyewitnesses. They were leading the prisoners on a death march, but when Allied bombs began to fall, Judy and her sister managed to escape. They are among only a handful of people who ever managed to get away from Stuthof. Today, Judy is the matriarch of a large family. She has 6 grandchildren. 2 are named after the great-grandmother they never knew. And before leaving Stuthof, Judy wanted her mother to know.
2 wonderful grandchildren named after you. Hitler did not succeed. We have a family. Thank you for letting me come here and be witness. Thank you, God. I'm alive.
She bares her soul to become a teacher so that her life may serve as the lesson for her grandchildren and now for the thousands of students who will see her story. The lesson I learned from Judy Meisel in Poland is that everyone can make a difference. You don't have to wait for another Holocaust to stand up against racism and bigotry. And through 2 groups, Facing History and Ourselves and the Northern California Holocaust Center, more than 500,000 high school students will have access to our story and the opportunity to now view Schindler's List and understand just what it means.
Thank you, Randy. The Crusaders will be back in just a moment.
Next, these cops are sending out a message. Think twice.
After his film Schindler's List won 7 Academy Awards Monday night, Steven Spielberg reiterated the request he made on the Crusaders last week. He asked America never to forget the Holocaust or its victims and pass that knowledge on to a new generation. This week, Crusader Randy Page joins him in keeping the Holocaust memories alive with our crusade to remember.
Steven Spielberg's message to educate kids started weeks before the Oscars at the Golden Globe Awards.
Because so many young high school kids don't know what the word Holocaust means.
And when he accepted the Academy Award for Best Picture, Spielberg said, "Do not allow the Holocaust to become a footnote in history. Please listen to the survivors' words."
It's a wonderful to be here. Every time
Judy Meisel is one of those survivors. We brought her to Woodrow Wilson Middle School in Glendale, California, so she could share the story which we first brought you last week, Judy's return to a Nazi death camp in northern Poland known as Stuthof. The students were silent as they watched our 8-minute story, and they were moved by its most dramatic moment, Judy's return to the gas chamber where her mother died.
I clung to her and I said, I want to go with you. And she said no, and I said yes. And we went into the gas chamber and were told to get undressed. The guard looked at me and he said, laughing, and I know he was drunk because the way he was saying, he said, no, I should run. And he said, 1, 2, 3, you know, he started counting, and my mother starts saying, Leif Judith, run, run, and I run.
She bears her soul to become a teacher so that her life may serve as the lesson for her grandchildren and now for the thousands of students who will see her story.
How did you keep the wills to live in the extermination camps?
That's a good story. Very hard. People ask me a lot of times, how come you didn't fight back? To live 1 minute longer, to take one breath longer was fighting back.
When you saw Judy's story, what affected you the most?
When she said that she watched her mother when her mother told her to run, just in the gas chamber, and it was really sad.
Anybody else?
I'm an Armenian, so a lot of people have been prejudiced to me. Not maybe in this class, but I've witnessed it and it really hurts.
What is the lesson of the Holocaust?
Okay, that all people are created equal and should always be treated that way.
We should learn about each other and learn from each other.
The students were ready for the lesson that Judy had come here to teach.
Each one of you here today can make a difference. No matter how small that difference is, how you act to each other, how it's with your family, if you hear a derogatory remark, speak up. Because you are the future.
Whether you're a German industrialist like Oskar Schindler or a student at Glendale Middle School, the message is still the same. That the battle against discrimination and injustice begins with every single one of us. That's what Judy's trying to teach our children. To fight these problems when they seem small, before they ever have the opportunity to reach the magnitude of something as horrible as the Holocaust.